All right, so we installed the Next Venture Motorsports front winch bumper on my 2020 JLUR steel bumper. I'm just going to kind of walk through some commentary on installation. I do have a little bit of footage we got the day we put it in, but I didn't get a full video on the installation. So I had a couple buddies helping me, and one of the things that drove us nuts, you can see the bolts in there, how they're kind of hidden. Like some other manufacturers have some bolts on the front, which I think is actually a better design. I originally thought this was a better design. You can see those like carriage bolts in there. They give you a little like washer deal that's supposed to hold it in place while you install it, but they don't actually work and they don't actually hold it in place and they just fall out. So we ended up having to kind of fish our hands in there and push them forward and try to get them to line up. Obviously these top bolts are really easy to do. And then, yeah, you can get to these back nuts pretty easily on this side, but the inner ones are a little bit tougher. I think we loosened up the winch and just kind of fished some wrenches through and kind of wiggled the winch around to get to those inner bolts. We painted it ourselves. Wanted to save the money on powder coating, although going back, I probably would have just paid for the powder coating. The paint got kind of screwed up when we were taking it on and off multiple times. I like their design because it retains the factory fog lights, which is pretty cool. And it's the only bumper that I could find that had a 1/4 inch winch plate built in. I took off the ATP winch plate, which was 1/4 inch. I did not want to do 3/16, so I should put a D-ring in there. Where's the old bumper at? I think we need to remove the lights. So they say some 7/16 bolts, but they supply you with 3/8. To get them in here without falling, just take a piece of tape, put it on the back of a 9/16 wrench, and you can finger bang that thing in there. You're gonna want to tape these guys up and stick them in there. Use some tape to make life easy. Otherwise, you're gonna hate life. I don't see how else to do it. Well, they tell you to bolt these on. They tell you to bolt these on first and leave these loose, but I don't see how the bumper is going to go on and not have to attach right here. Like, it makes no sense. All right, so put your winch on next. That one's cross-threaded or something. So one set of instructions tells you to put bolts in through here first. Another set says just do a carriage bolt through here.
Okay. Now how are we going to tighten this? At least on this side.
So these clips don't work at all. They all bent and got shitty. It's ridiculous. We had to take the bumper off. I don't know what we're gonna do. We tried duct tape, didn't really work either. But see how small the clips are? They just fall through the holes. They made the slots too big. The clips are too small. It's a really dumb design, honestly. Like, they should have just like let you access the holes from the front of the bumper. I mean, that would have been way easier. And they have you do like one right here. The whole thing just feels very bizarre. Like, if these little E-clips were way wider and actually tightened up enough, but you can see the gap right there. Look at that gap. They're just gonna float. And what happens is they get cockeyed, which is what happened, and the whole thing got cockeyed. None of the bolts would pull through, and we have 4 guys working on it. We know what the hell we're doing. The E-clips don't really work in here. We used a electric ratchet through the front, and I held my fingers in here. Put your fingers back there to hold that thing in place. The outer ones, you can't get anything behind them, so I don't know how we're gonna do it. There's no way to tighten these bolts with it all on there. We're gonna have to go get some metric hex cap bolts. And there's no way to put the bumper bolts on without dismounting the winch and moving it around. So, shit. I don't know. The only solution I got, so we're gonna have to. These are metric. They look like M10-15, maybe finer. I don't know. 10.9. I'm gonna get hex cap on those. So I mean, overall, I would buy that bumper again. Although I almost wish that they, instead of using carriage bolts, used regular 3/4 inch bolts. I think it would have made it a lot easier just to fish a wrench in from the front cavity right here. Other than that, I probably would have paid for the powder coating. I was being cheap at the time. We just spray painted it in the garage over a couple of days, did lots and lots of coats. I need to do a ton of touch-ups from the install. That's about it though. Otherwise, I think it's a pretty cool bumper. Yeah, I think in the price range that this bumper is in, I think it was like $750, but I waited for a 15% off weekend or something. So the pricing was decent. So yeah, thanks for following along this week. If you can, like, subscribe, and comment below. We got some more JL projects coming, a lot of Cherokee projects coming on a stock Cherokee, some more projects on a 1-ton Cherokee, and then the Wagoneer as well. Do you think it looks good with the metal cloak tube fenders and the bumper on there together? I think the old plastic bumper was pretty bulky, kind of ugly, really big and bulky, stuck out really far. I mean, we do have a lot more space up here for activities.